We're living through an era where moral clarity is rare, but its absence is catastrophic. If we begin not in Westminster or Whitehall, but in a dimly lit village in Kabul, where just north of Kabul, where a man called Jamaluddin lives like a fugitive, despite his service as a colonel, his years of risking death shoulder to shoulder with British troops. He's not a criminal nor a coward, he's a loyal ally, betrayed by a government too obsessed with slogans and secrecy to honour its basic obligations. And what of that government? It built a fortress of bureaucracy around itself. It hid behind a super injunction, a judicial gag order so secret that its very existence couldn't be reported. For nearly 3 years, officials knowingly concealed the fact that 24,000 names of Afghan asylum seekers, many with verified service to the British military, had been leaked into the hands of the Taliban, the very people looking for Jamaluddin. One cannot help but contrast Jamaluddin's fate and the fate of so many like him with and the activity of Britain with France, a country routinely derided by British tabloids as soft. Yet it's France, not Britain, that's granted refugee status under the Geneva Convention to Gazans caught between Israeli bombardment and institutional neglect. France has shown clarity, Britain has shown cowardice. And the rot is systematic. Or systemic, I think I'd probably better say. The UK's Afghan relocations and assistance policy, ARAP, was never designed to move quickly nor to prioritise those most at risk, drivers, cooks, even a tea boy who never said hello to a Briton, as Jamaluddin recalls, have been resettled, but the real people who helped us have not. One man reportedly brought 22 dependents with him, and the Ministry of Defence nodded it through. Meanwhile, real partners were left behind, interpreters, guards, soldiers, men like Munir, who protected diplomats with his life. Now his street is being canvassed by the Taliban, hunting him. His reward for loyalty is terror. His children cannot play outside. They ask why. He has no answer. Perfidious Albion. And yet ministers continue to parade themselves as moral champions. Ben Wallace defended the gag. John Healey apologised too late. Dominic Raab went on holiday while warnings from the British ambassador were ignored. Boris Johnson had the gall to boast that very few countries could have pulled off the Kabul airlift. Perhaps. But even fewer could have bungled the aftermath with such cold-blooded indifference. One Afghan, Basir, worked 13 years for the British Embassy. Now he is destitute. He begs for groceries on credit. Another, Tori Ale, spent 18 years supplying fuel to British military bases. His reward, detention, beatings, accusations of terrorism. He now survives only because the Taliban need his petrol stations. No doubt he sleeps soundly. When the British state did act, it acted in panic. After the data breach, the government secretly ushered in more than 16,000 Afghans, many with dubious claims, simply to avoid scandal. Guilt. The process was chaotic, unmonitored, and crucially unjust. The deserving were drowned in a sea of falsehood. There's no moral clarity in spreadsheets, no courage in hiding behind procedure, no honour in pretending that silence equals safety. This isn't about numbers. It's about promises. It's about Jamaluddin, Munir, Amina, Basir. These names and thousands more that we don't know represent a simple truth. Britain has failed to keep its word. Other countries managed it. France, Spain, even Ukraine, at war itself, evacuated Afghan allies. But Britain told its partners to make their own way to the border, while offering no support, no documentation. Some were turned back, some disappeared, some will die. So this is plain. This is a national disgrace. It's the latest chapter in what might rightly be called perfidious Albion, a term once coined by the French to describe Britain's reputation for hypocrisy. Rarely has it been more apt. There are remedies. The Arab scheme must be fixed, not in a year, but now. Family reunion rules must be changed so children can see their parents again. Staff and funding must be increased at the Home Office. The Home Office needs to become more accessible. And the Ministry of Defence. These things need to be increased as they were for Ukraine. And this government needs to stop threatening deportation to Rwanda. While ignoring its own historic debt, it needs to stop threatening threatening to deport people wherever while ignoring its own historic debt. Because in the end, we cannot hold our heads high, not until we replace bombast with justice and bureaucracy with conscience. If we want to speak of values on the world stage, we must remember first those we left in the dust, and we need to repair the damage. If the Rwanda scheme is entirely to be broken, entirely to be cast off, never to be restored, because Kemi Badenoch wants to restore it, it needs to be dismantled. We need to repeal the laws that surround the Rwanda nonsense. Those 3 laws of Suella Braverman. Suella Braverman in the Afghan story now is exposed as the inadequate that so many people thought her to be. Now it's clear. And yet she's commanded columns in national newspapers to posture, to weep crocodile tears over the Afghans. She could have spoken up at any point in Parliament. She didn't. She didn't because she is inadequate. Kemi Badenoch should not be in a position to be able to revive that Rwanda rubbish again. And that means those laws need to be repealed. The Nationality and Borders Law needs to be repealed. The illegal immigration law needs to be repealed. The Rwanda law particularly needs to be repealed. These are things that Keir Starmer can do quite quickly. And then he needs to sort out the rescue of those remaining Afghans, because that is our duty, our responsibility, our honour is at stake.